Do you guys think companies manipulate RNG for profit? Only Nexon, right? Nexon did it. Okay, let's see then. Oh my god, what is this essay? How are companies regulated when it comes to RNG? By law, they have to show the percent chance of the summon. Okay, so it's going to say that what if they modify it? Okay, they can tell you it's 1% for a Lego, and on top of that, they develop the game. I'm just speaking out of pure fantasy. These games are designed for pure money, to try every angle and mental manipulation to suck every single penny out of you. Yet, I'm still addicted and play every day. What is to stop these companies, these gacha scam companies, from putting a switch they can flip to manipulate what you get? It's not like there are gacha police going around to different games and watching them, making sure they are honest. I know that one company is catching heat right now from this, but really, what stops them from doing just what they want behind the scenes? Now here's my perspective, right? Here's my perspective. Always save enough for PT. Problem solved. You don't have to worry about the rates if you save enough for PT. I never pull and gamble, you know, in any manner, right? For me personally, I don't think I've ever done that. I always have enough for PT. PT is always going to be there. Just have enough for PT. Then you don't have to worry about the rates. If you have enough for PT, you don't have to worry about having this mental manipulation or mental gymnastics with, oh, is this company manipulating me? Am I going to play this game, right? At the end of the day, if you can reach PT, problem solved, right? Problem solved. And I'm talking about hard PT. PT 50-50, no. All the way. Go all the way. PT 50-50, have enough to do it twice, you know? Don't have enough to do it one time. Company makes profit from gacha addicts. Gacha addicts? Yeah, if you always save enough for PT, does it matter? I don't think it matters. Because the game could be 1%, but they manipulate it to 0.8%. The game could be 4%, but they manipulate it to be 3%. But if you have enough for PT, it's not going to matter as much. So this is only going to affect you if you will always not have enough for PT. Sure, it's scummy, for sure. I'm not saying that they should, they should not be held accountable. But I guess my perspective is, if you have enough for PT, it's not something that you have to be worried about. And also, how are you going to prove it, right? There's no legitimate way to try to come out and prove, oh, that this company is scamming you. I don't think there's a normal way that any players can actually do to prove these kind of things. The only way that I can think of is maybe if you are a hardcore player, you have multiple accounts, and then you go and do like a big gacha pool, sample rate, calculate that. But in most cases, it's just not viable. It's literally not viable. It's just hard to prove these kind of things, right? You could just be unlucky, So some of these games are making $30 million a month. I don't think they care about a measly fine if they got caught. Yeah, they probably don't. And I guess if you don't really trust them, you shouldn't play them either. I think it goes both ways, right? You can prove if you are a trillionaire. I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know. Probably you can, but it's just too much trouble. Too much trouble. I just feel a lot of these companies would be stupid to not manipulate behind the scenes. I don't know. I think it goes both ways, right? Like for me, because I'm a streamer, right? Again, I can see why if you are someone that's like, if you're someone that you play alone and you don't watch videos and stuff, you probably would feel like if you're unlucky, you would probably have that what is that called? You have bias in your brain or in your mind that, okay, I'm being tricked right now. This game is rigged. I can see that. But for me, like sometimes I do feel that. And then I log in during the stream. I log into my viewers' account and do posts on theirs. And then they are super lucky. And then I'm like, okay, maybe I'm just super unlucky, right? And it always have that. You will always have that self-conscious bias when you're super unlucky or when you're super lucky, right? I guess it's just when you're super lucky. When you're super lucky, you don't care because you're happy. You get all the characters that you want. But when you're super unlucky, you know, you will always have the negative thoughts going on in your brain. It's just human nature. You can't help but feel that way, right? But yeah, as someone that for me, I'm a streamer. I've been doing these viewer polls for a long time. And most games I think are pretty legit, right? You can feel because you're not just pulling in your own account. You're pulling in multiple accounts. In Blue Archive, in Nikkei. I've done some for Honkai Star Rail as well. Yeah, definitely can feel these are pretty legit. And I do think that nowadays with the internet, with a lot of people streaming the game, you can go to their stream and check, right? If they manipulate rates, it will be quite obvious, I think. I think it's just, especially if a game is super famous, if the game is like Higan and they manipulate rates, you probably won't know because there's not enough players in the game. But if the game is as famous as Genshin, you can go to every single Twitch stream and look at people's poll and then you'll be like, huh, that seems a bit odd, that seems a bit lower than what it should be, right? I think there's always that factor to consider as well. Companies that just manipulate rates, they're putting themselves at risk, especially when streamers try to stream their game. So it's also something that, you know, they want to be careful with. Is there a gacha company with God-fearing developers who walk the path of goodness and develop their game purely for fun with zero manipulations? I'm not complaining, basically shower of thoughts. Yeah, I pretty much already give my answer to all of this. I doubt most companies would do it, and it's just going to be quite easy to do it as well. Holy essay response. Nexon has been fined multiple times for manipulated and misleading rates. They made $440 million over 10 years for selling cubes in MapleStory and were only fined $9 million US due to regulation. That was the high end of possible fines. Some of the info revealed from the investigation was they had multiple parameters to manipulate rates like play time, number of bodies. By law, they had to show the % chance to summon. This is a country dependent and not universal. While most major games do show rates, it's only because they are legally required to. In places they are not, games don't always reveal rates. Games will do everything they can to profit. If a country bans selling loot boxes directly, the game will instead sell a different item and give you free loot boxes as a workaround. What's to stop them from putting a switch they can flip to manipulate what you get? Typically, they will weigh potential profits versus costs, and if the profits will outweigh the costs, they will break the law. Costs would include typically minor fines, and more importantly, loss of shareholder and player trust. Nexon already had a trash reputation and a fairly captive market, so breaking the law wasn't a big deal for them. They figured the whales would still stay addicted and don't care about free-to-play and small spenders quitting. But whales you need free-to-play and small spenders in the ecosystem though. I don't think this is accurate at all, right? Because if there's no free-to-play, there's no small spenders, there won't be whales. I think it's just how it is. Most games and companies don't want to risk the negative attention and would avoid doing the same. You really have to look out for the small cash grabs that fall and pop back up since they have little to no investment and don't care about blowback, or the big mega corps that don't need to worry about failing. Anything in between probably doesn't want to risk it. It's probably easier to just slap a 1% SSR rate than actively manipulate rates and hide it. It's not like there are gacha police going around to different games and watching them, making sure they are honest regulatory bodies. Likely wouldn't move until they are tipped off, and even then, they often take a significant amount of time to perform an investigation. Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, War of the Visions also had a scandal with manipulated rates. Huh, I didn't know of that. So Final Fantasy VII, Brave Exvius also has that. Alright. Yeah, I think this is pretty interesting, but again, I feel like if you manipulate rates and make it hard for the free-to-play player to obtain the character, then they will quit. And then the whales might quit as well. So I think ideally it's not bad. I don't see Sure, it can be beneficial for some companies, but only for the ones that has a lot of players. I think for like a middle to a low ground company, like a smaller company, or I mean a smaller game, like for example Higan, Neural Cloud, Outer Plane, I don't think they benefit from manipulating rates. It will hurt them even more, right? It will definitely hurt them. But yeah, that's my opinion though.